Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What a good news here. What a piece of a good news. The Ukrainians embrace European civilization, the new European civilization, Europe's values, the new values imposed on the Europeans by, we don't know whom, but there's not a majority, that's a minority, but the new values. And that is, let me show you. This article is from today, coming from the Ukrainian themselves. New Voice of Ukraine. Pride 2025, LGBTQ plus troops can call for equal rights on and off the front. Okay, well, I have a problem with this. Okay? Some people might think that certain things should not be considered rights. But hey, they already put that in that category. Who's they? Did they ask us? Did they ask the rest of the society? The majority of the society? Anyway, if I want to make it as a right, this thing to be stuck in someone's ass, I can make it a right. And then whomever disagrees with this right is against the equal rights of this or a cock. You got it? All right. So rights can be made just like that. And we can disagree with those rights. But who cares? They're in charge of us. So congratulations, Ukraine. You're fighting to defend the European rights and the European values on the battlefield. I congratulate you. That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. Plus some immigration to help your woman get a little bit of this, because there's not going to be some Ukrainian men anymore. You're fucked. Anyway, in that way too. All right, here. This is from last year. KyivPride 2024 to feature Equality March and charity events. Equality March. Do you agree with this thing to be equal? Do you agree with that? I'm just going to give you an extreme example, and take it as an example. If tomorrow, and I'm not promoting this, if tomorrow it's going to be decreed that incest, some people, let's say, decree that is a right, an equal, then people would fight to protect that equal right. So heterosexual sex between two consenting adults, is the norm. Then you have other things that became rights. But what if they're going to expand it to, let's say, zoophilia? Tomorrow they say, well, nothing wrong, it's a consensual love lifestyle between a human being and an animal. I'm not promoting that. I'm just raising the question. And I'm entitled to raise the question if I'm a free person. If I'm not, then I can't even ask questions. So remember, all these things that these guys say became rights could be expanded. Remember, incest is between two consenting adults. All right? And could be heterosexual, could be homosexual, right? Nevertheless, good job, Ukraine. You defend our rights. But these are the European values. Now let me show you what happens in Europe, and if you don't follow, you refuse to accept the new values and the rights. The rights. EU state follows through on LGBTQ parade ban promise. Budapest police have denied permission for a pride event, citing a law prioritizing the right of children to adequate mental development. All right, so these guys in the European Union, Hungarians, they did this. They had a referenda. They had opinion polls. And, they said, we don't want this to happen. We want to protect children from something, some idea we disagree with. Well, you can't have that in free world of Europe, because MEPs urge Brussels to cut all funding for Budapest. Why? So I'm going to punish you if you don't like our values, our rights, our values, our civilization. I thought that Europe is made of nations, nation states, and they are supposed to have their own, culture, traditions, or no? Who writes Hungary's traditions nowadays, and rights and values? Brussels? Who's Brussels? Who are those people who tell you today that that kind of thing is a right? And that kind of thing is no, you can't oppose it. I'm gonna hurt you, that's what they say, if you disagree with our imposed rights on you. I mean, if it's a right, it should be self-evident, coming from the creator, not from Brussels. Every time you think about the right of that kind of group, think about tomorrow another thing could be considered a right. Let's say a perversion of normality. Remember, perversion means outside of the norm of normality. Now it's outside of it. It's a perversion of what it is. So what's normality? I think that we can agree that heterosexuality is the norm. I mean, and is the norm if you look not only at the human beings, any other animals, overwhelmingly. Why? Because it's not about making love and having fun. It's about having kids. That's why nature has pleasure in us copulating. So we can procreate. If the act of sex would be a painful act, we will never procreate. So the human race or any other animals will fall down. But we have the urge of that, so we can procreate. So outside of that, that's a perversion. It doesn't mean you have necessarily have to procreate, but that's not the norm of, you know what I mean. Look in the animal reign. And if you think we're different, think again. And let me show you these guys who are definitely not Europeans, right there. It says Russian anti-LGBTQ law. That's how they put it. Now, what did they say? And this is the interpretation. It's written here by Wikipedia. For the purpose of protecting children from information advocating a denial of traditional family values, commonly known by whom? By whom? Who made it be commonly known as the Russian anti-LGBTQ law? Who made this commonly known be common? Not the guys who promoted it, not Russia, is these guys right here. Some of them right here. Brussels, Washington, and other garbage. And right, it says here, or as the Russian anti-gay law. It is not commonly known as protecting children law. No. It is commonly known as anti-LGBTQ. All right, so what does it say? All right, it says the state purpose of the Russian government for the law is to prevent the presentation of the LGBT community as the normal part of Russian society under the argument that LGBTQ rights in Russia contradict traditional Russian values. Or, look in the animal reign. All right, so they say what? The statute amended the Russian law on protecting children from information harmful to their health and development, and the Code of the Russian Federation on Administrative Offense to prohibit the distribution of propaganda of non-traditional sexual relationships among minors. Got it? And we have here background, they take Cochet contents. Article 1, right there for you. And that's going to be an interpretation. These are all the Article 1, 2, 3 are the interpretations given by Wikipedia. Someone wrote this. It's not the quotation of that. But hey, maybe it is. Let's see. Maybe it is. And let me see if that's correct. Let me see where the quotation marks start. Right here. So on the Article 1 of the bill amended on protecting children from information harmful to their health and development, with a provision classifying propaganda of non-traditional sexual relationship as a class of material that must not be distributed among minors. The term is defined as the materials are, and I'm quoting, aimed at causing minors to form non-traditional sexual predispositions, notions of attractiveness of non-traditional sexual relationships, distorted ideas about the equal social value of traditional and non-traditional sexual relationships, or imposing information about non-traditional sexual relationships which raise interest in such relationship insofar as this act do not amount to a criminal offense. Article 2 makes similar amendments to on basic guarantees for the rights of the children in the Russian Federation. Equal rights, right? But these are equal rights for others, and these guys are equal rights for others. So commonly government commending the government to protect children from such material. Article 3 of the bill amended the Code of the Russian Federation of Administrative of offense with Article 6.21, which prescribes penalties for violations of the propaganda ban. Russian citizens found guilty can receive fines to 5,000 rubles, and public officials can receive fines to 50,000 rubles. Organizations or businesses can be fined up to 1 million rubles and be forced to cease operations for 90 days. For up to 9 days. Foreigners may be arrested and detained for up to 15 days, then deported, or fined up to 5,000 rubles and deported. The fines for individuals are much higher in the offense if the offense was committed using mass media or internet. Reaction: all right. What do you think? When you have the government needing to intervene by law to protect, there's a problem, or to promote. If something is self-evident, it shouldn't be needed to be protected or defended. The problem is you have a lot of interests that try to destroy certain self-evident rights of the children. So I don't imply that they go together, but I'm not an imbecile too. I've been around the block a few times. And, that's a little thing over there with Elton John and his wife and their children. Not their biological children. I would say both children. They call them adopted. Okay, but anyway. So, here you go. Congratulations, Ukraine. You're going to have European values, the pinnacle of the European values in your country. You already have them. Isn't that a great step? Regarding freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, things like this are down. This is the pinnacle, my friends. Yes. The way you fuck, basically, and who you fuck. That's very, very, very important. Right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. While the other ones, Hungary, oh my God, Russia, oh my God. We'll see. We'll see if the Europeans continue destroying their Greco-Roman civilization by, imposing these kind of perversions. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. Remember, look at the definition of perversion. It's outside of normality. It's a normal word. Like, for instance, fat. Fat is a person who's not thin. You don't like the term? Change the condition. Don't be the police, the speech police to me. The same with perversion. I didn't appoint you or voted for you to be the speech police, the police of my vocabulary. And you say what's acceptable in a society and what's not acceptable of society. Who are you to tell me that? Thank you very much. See you later.